Welcome back to Pain and Tension. This is DeLon with Bodybuilding into the New Age, where I bridge the gap between conventional fit wisdom and bodybuilding and the science of it. Today I'm going to cover some examples of why macros matter a little bit more than calories, and how people fall victim to counting calories but also neglecting their macro allotments or not paying enough attention to their macronutrient proportions. If this is your first time hearing what a macro is, it's basically just the back of your food label but broken down into three major sections, such as your proteins, carbs, and fats. And carbs is just short for carbohydrates. You can take it further with sugar and sodium and even water, but that's not always necessary. To show you how much these macros can affect your body composition, I ate a box lunch diet for 2 days. I kept the caloric expenditure the same, and so right now I'm in a bulking phase, which means that my total maintenance or calorie expenditure is more than what I'm burning each day in the hopes of putting on muscle mass. I started bulking on this experiment at 207 pounds. As you can see in this photo that I'm about to pull up, the photo on the left is before I started my box lunch experiment, and then the photo on the right is 2 days into it. And so you can see my body composition suffered on the photo on the right, where there's fat accumulation mainly around the midsection, even though the calories were the same. I skipped the gym on these 2 days, but I did do some light jogging and calisthenics on the second day, which is a small factor of the weight gain. Kept my protein intake around 100 grams of protein, which is similar to that of what a typical diet looks like. For adding muscle, you want to keep your protein a little higher, anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times your body weight. So since I'm a little over 200 pounds, what that would look like for me is anywhere from 310 grams to 415 grams of protein a day. Real quick, if you enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and also ring the bell so you get notified of any other videos that I put out. I did ramp up my diet's carbohydrates to about 400 and 500 grams a day, just for the sake of this study, to simulate a night or two out. The reason I didn't sacrifice calories for body composition was in the spirit of saving muscle mass. I knew I would gain fat primarily due to the excessive carbs, and that was my intent. I think a normal reaction people have to weight gain is, I need to eat less and burn more calories, that is. And in the world of bodybuilding and general fitness, I recognize this isn't always a priority, but for a lot of people, whether they admit it to it or not, fat accumulation can be dreadful and may even lower your self-esteem, which can carry over to social interactions or even risks and opportunities you may not choose to pursue. Understanding this natural tendency, I chose to fight the inclination to throttle back calories and or dramatically increase cardio. I expected there would be some fat accumulation, and on day 2 of what I'm calling the boxed lunch experiment, I had added 4 pounds of weight at 211 pounds, which equal to a total whopping 2% increase in body mass. But again, a lot of this is psychological, so you see the numbers go up, and well, it's how do you handle it psychologically? That's what it comes down to. The third day, my normal diet and workout routine, as you can see here in this other photo that I'm about to pull up, photo day 3, most of the fat that was accumulated from those extra carbs had burned off from recovery and muscle growth. The 2 days I halted for the 2 days, I halted my exogenous hormone protocol that I was on for these 2 days. So the main hormone that I was cycling at the time was trenbolone, estrified, and enanthate. But I found my body metabolizes that ester a lot faster than the reported 4.5 day half-life, which just means that the ester that the hormone's suspended in, which in this case would be enanthate, is supposed to dissolve from your subcutaneous fat into either glycerol and make it into your bloodstream through your liver, or just osmotically transfer into hemoglobin and then be bially available to your target cells. But I have noticed that my body seems to metabolize it a lot faster. So I did note that I feel the effects in slightly around 5 hours after injecting it. So this was day 3, and on day 3 I resumed my cyclic dose of 110 milligrams combined with 3 IUs of HGH. And if you don't know what HGH is, it is human growth hormone. And what that basically does is inhibits insulin and stimulates AR expression and upregulates metabolic anabolism and their receptors. I'll post an article that goes in more depth into the actual exact diet and raw numbers. If you're interested, on payintention.com, it'll be under lunchbox diet or experiment. Another reason I didn't try to cut calories was I didn't want to put my body into a state of glycogenesis, thereby stimulating gluconeogenesis, which is starving your body of blood sugar so that it metabolizes stored glucose or breaks down glycogen instead of sourcing it from intracellular stores or muscle stores. Not only does this catabolize fatty acids through the use of your hormone glucagon, but it catabolizes protein by proteolyzing or breaking down amino acids, which can sometimes come from muscle, through proteasome action, which is the primary cellular function of what breaks down your amino acids. In other words, prolonged starvation leads to protein degradation. Yes, it does use glycerol, and which is free backbone fatty acid form of lipids, and it also uses lactate, which is usually a byproduct of ATP fermentation, and it can go both ways if you look at the TCA cycle. But yeah, I wasn't willing to risk especially with the 100 grams of protein. I didn't want the proportion of what my body was using for energy to sway in the direction of amino acids, so I leaned towards gaining fat, and in my opinion, I was able to lose most of it anyway, so for me that was a win because I lost the least amount of muscle possible and ended up losing most of the fat that I had gained over those past that period of 2 days. Um, but I'll talk more in my video of why intermittent fasting is a tool and not a diet, and I'll post it in a link up in the card above. Um, as always, I hope you found my content useful, and I hope you keep this in mind next time you're worried about temporary ectopic lipid deposition or fat deposits. Just remember, at least you didn't sacrifice the muscle underneath it. This is Delon with Pain Intention for bodybuilding into the new age, and I'll see you in the next video.